We are so excited to be kicking off our Rebuilding the Circle campaign. I'm going to share what it's all about, and I promise it is super applicable to every single person. My name is Sarah Lopez Madrigal. I'm founder and executive director of We Belong PDX. Let's get started. In 1938, two research groups out of Harvard set out to determine what makes a good life, what leads to life satisfaction, healthy aging. One study group began with 456 inner city boys from Boston. They were between the ages of 12 and 16 years old, and many of them were from super impoverished immigrant families. The second group began with 268 sophomores attending Harvard, many of which went on to be doctors and lawyers. One participant even went on to be a U.S. president. Eventually, these two study groups merged into one to become the longest running study on human development ever to exist. It's still running today, 87 years later. The methods they used for the study included brain scans, blood tests, genetic testing, interviews with family and friends, surveying the participants about their work relationships, their routines, habits, mental health. The point being, this study was incredibly thorough. And after 80 years of gathering the data, they painstakingly examined the results. And what they found shocked researchers. I'm going to share with you the top 3 findings from this study. The number one thing that led to healthy aging, life satisfaction, a happy lived life was not the career successes. It was not income level. It was not whether you were an important person in society. It was simply the health of your relationships. The health of our relationships is the top determining factor for a healthy, satisfying, happy life. The second finding, also very surprising to researchers, was that loneliness is dangerous for our health. There are actual physical and mental consequences to ongoing loneliness. The third finding is that the quality of our relationships is more important than the quantity. Having a handful of secure, supportive, and meaningful relationships is far more valuable than having a whole bunch of surface level relationships. With this study in mind, let's take a look at some current trends in the United States. Over the last many years, we have seen a steady incline in rates of depression, both among adults and youth. In Oregon in particular, sadly, rates of depression have been among the highest in the nation, pretty consistently for many years for both adults and youth. At the same time, let's take a look at what has been on the decline. The amount of time that we are spending with friends outside of work and school has been on the decline for many years now. The amount of time we are spending socially connecting has been on the decline. To help connect some dots here, I have some quotes from a couple individuals. One being Dr. Robert Waldinger, who's actually the current director of the Harvard Study of Adult Development. He co-authored a book called The Good Life, and it's based on the results from this study, so I highly recommend it. These are some quotes from that book. Close relationships protect people from life's discontents, help to delay mental and physical decline, and are better predictors of long and happy lives than social class, IQ, or even genes. The second from that book, when we increase our connection to friends, it has a measurable effect on our bodies because our bodies need what friendship provides. The second quote is from Dr. Bruce D. Perry. He is a neuroscientist and one of America's leading child psychiatrists. He has authored a couple books. His most popular one he co-authored called What Happened to You? This is from that book. Our major finding is that your history of relational health, your connectedness to family, community, and culture is more predictive of your mental health than your history of adversity. This pickleball here helps provides us with a helpful metaphor to understand the value of a community wrapped around us. There's a little figurine inside that's representative of us. When we have strong relationships with family, friends, neighbors, other adults around us, we have a sense of security, support, and meaning that is built around us. And when that happens, when that's built around us, no matter the paddles that come swinging, representative of the challenges in life, no matter the challenges that come, we're able to stand strong against them. However, when we don't have that protective support from relationships, when those paddles come swinging, they do far more damage. The Harvard study of adult development is one of many studies that have showed this time and time again. The reality is that many kids today do not have the relationships they need to be okay, and they are not okay. This is evident in the record rates of depression, loneliness, social anxiety, isolation that we are seeing. The World Health Organization reports found that 1 in 5 youth aged 13 to 17 are experiencing ongoing feelings of loneliness. We know from the findings of this study that ongoing feelings of loneliness are dangerous for our health. This is the highest rate among all age groups worldwide. This is tragic. This is what we are doing something about at We Belong PDX. The We Belong way puts trusted relationships at the core of our programming, and they happen in 3 different ways. First, peer-to-peer. Kids are engaging with the same group of kids twice weekly, year-round, year after year, to ensure meaningful friendships can form. Second, mentor to mentee. Our staff and volunteer group mentors are engaging with the same group of kids week after week, year after year. We aim for a 4-to-1 ratio to ensure the kids are getting the attuned attention that they need, and our staff are providing individual check-ins and setting growth goals with the kids. The third is family to family. That happens, we organize quarterly family events, bringing families who live in the same neighborhood together to connect. If a child starts with us at the age of 5, they have 9 years of relational investment. We're aiming for meaningful depth in relationship to ensure meaningful outcomes in our community at large. In June, we gave 31 kids a survey. That was a little more than half of the kids in our program at that time. And 84% of them said there are at least 2 adults and 2 peers that they have a trusted relationship with at We Belong. 100% of them said there was at least 1 adult they had a trusted relationship with. These are relationships they did not have before. In the last 6 months, I have had 2 boys from different ages, different groups in our program ask me, how old do I need to become a group mentor? These are boys considered at risk, and here they are excited to reinvest in their community. This is from a parent, an email that I received just a couple months ago from a parent. We are so thankful for We Belong. With the new school year, Jay ended up being in a different class than a lot of his kindergarten friends. I thought he'd be really sad about this, but he said, it's okay because I still get to see them at We Belong. Having the consistency of being with Ruth in the new school year, our staff member, has also been a huge gift to have a consistent, incredible role model like Ruth continuously when his school teachers change each year is so incredible and makes such a difference in these kids' lives. When Jay talks about his favorite part of the day, he usually says, We belong. Consistency in relationship matters for these kids. Consistency in relationship matters for each one of us in our lives. This 6-week campaign we are kicking off is all about the trusted relationships piece of our programming. We're aiming to raise $50,000, and 100% of that is going to give 84 kids the meaningful and supportive relationships they need to thrive. In addition to raising money, though, we are aiming to spark a movement toward greater social connectedness. We're aiming to help people understand the why behind it and then provide them with helpful tools and tips to be able to grow the relationships in their own life. This card here gives some practical action steps, ideas for activities to rebuild the circle of connection on one side in your own community, on the other side in the We Belong PDX community. For example, joining a rec group to meet new people or a local club. Club attendance for years has been down in our country, but I have personally seen the value. I'm a part of a Rotary Club, and being able to serve alongside people with varying ideologies and in varying age groups has actually been such a joy and given me the opportunity to have relationships I never would have had before. Stepping out of our comfort zones is important. And although that anxiety surfaces initially, the long-term positive impact far outweighs the immediate anxiety that we feel. It's a muscle that needs to be practiced, right? We need to practice that social connection in order for that muscle to grow stronger. And before you know it, that initial anxiety of engaging with people we don't know and being in spaces we might feel uncomfortable in will dissipate. And the relationships it's replaced with will ensure we thrive. We will feel better. We will feel the difference. We are 9% of the way there in reaching our goal. We need your help to do this. We know that trusted relationships is the best investment we can make in the next generation, but it's also the best investment we can make for ourselves right now to improve our community as a whole. There's no better investment than trusted relationships. So we encourage you to join us in this journey, follow along with the different content that we put out there, share it with family and friends, share the why behind social connection and why it's so important, share what we're doing with those you know, and help us rebuild the circle of connection. Thanks so much.